Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars figure review. We're not taking a look at a Hasbro figure or vehicle today, instead we're once again delving into the realm of Sideshow Collectibles 1/6 scale figures. And the one that I want to give you a look at today is from the Clone Wars and goes hand in hand with the Clone Captain Rex figure that I gave you a look at a few months ago. This is General Anakin Skywalker, once again as I said from the Clone Wars, so you've got sort of a realistic interpretation of Anakin as he appears in the Clone Wars series and in the movie, of course. You've got a very cool head sculpt which depicts obviously the likeness of Hayden Christensen, who is the actor who portrays Anakin in the prequel trilogy, and you've got a very nice accurate outfit which resembles the one worn by Anakin in the Clone Wars. So we're going to take a look at this figure in more detail later on in the review. But first up, as always, we are going to take a look at the packaging that this one comes in. Now, as I'm sure you know by now, Sideshow Collectibles figures come in very nicely designed boxes with the magnetic seal on the side. On the front we have obviously the Order of the Jedi, which is the series that this figure belongs to. And obviously some very cool photographs of Anakin on the front, the side, the back, and the other side. And on the back there you'll see various photographs from the Clone Wars movie, or stills should I say, and then you've got a couple of other very cool Sideshow figures which I'd love to get my hands on at some point. That is Darth Vader and the 501st Clone Trooper. And as I said, these Sideshow boxes do indeed have the magnetic flap on the side which allows you to open the box up and view the figure inside without actually taking it out. It's not a massive flap like with previous Sideshow figures where you've got a tray for the figure and also a tray for the weapons and accessories. This is just a tray for all of them, and then you've got obviously the description about the character at the side, which I'm not going to run through now, but you get the idea. Just to run through the accessories that are included with this figure, we do indeed get a fully articulated Prometheus male body, version 1.1 with 30 points of articulation, wrist guards, detailed belt with pouches, shoulder armour, a vest, interchangeable hands, and lit and unlit lightsabers. So some nice accessories with this one, all of which we'll talk about as the review goes on, but there is the box. And that's enough about the packaging, so there it is. Moving on to the figure, I will run through accessories first, or at least the detachable accessories, the first of which is the lightsaber hilt, which as you can see is very finely sculpted and painted. Got the ignition button there on the side, the grip, buttons on the top, and of course where the lightsaber would be ignited from. Fantastic detail on that. It's basically a scaled replica in some ways. Very nice detail, and of course you've got the little button there that allows it to hang on the belt. We also have the lit lightsaber, which I'll just remove from the hand, which is the same hilt but obviously with a blue blade attached. So you get a good look at that. Once again, as I said, the same hilt, same paint apps, same sculpt, just with the blade attached. The blade isn't actually removable, which is good. No fear of snapping there. And then all the other accessories that come with the figure are attached to him, so I'll run through those as I show you the figure. Just to talk about the belt, as you'll see, this small attachment right there is where the lightsaber hooks onto, like so. It's not very stable or secure, but it just hangs in there nicely. Would have been nice if they'd have incorporated a clip onto that, but oh well. You do get a couple of removable pouches as well, which obviously are to, I would assume, provide ammo or food or something like that. And then in terms of the overall outfit, obviously it is very accurate and resembles the outfit that Anakin wears throughout the Clone Wars, and in the movie of course. You have his robotic hand hidden by the glove, which we've come to expect. which looks very, very cool. We also have the chest armour as well, which has a very nice finish to it. It's got this sort of grainy, almost like stone effect to it, which looks cool. And on one side of the shoulder you have that Jedi emblem, which doesn't quite show up as well as it probably should, but still looks cool nonetheless. Once again, going back to that awesome head sculpt, which I will do my typical zoom just to show you a bit better. Hair is very finely sculpted as well. The likeness to Hayden Christensen is spot on. Really does look like him. And I don't know how well it shows up, but you can just make out the scar on the side of Anakin's head, just there. Obviously the hair has been shortened on this head sculpt to resemble how Anakin has it in the Clone Wars. He does hold the lightsaber very nicely with both hands, and speaking of hands, we'll talk about those more in just a second, but as you'll see, just get the wrist guards to cover his arms up, and the hands popped out. It's all going wrong. Just bear with me. There we go. He does hold it very well, as you can see. Looks great doing so as well. The outer robes are made of a vinyl material, and once again I hope you pick up that texture on camera. It's almost like a fake leather, and inside is vinyl, I believe, or nylon. Very silky, and that drapes nicely over the figure, and obviously is secured by the belt, which has some nice detail on that as well. You actually get two layers to the belt. There's this leather layer that runs around the top, as you can see, and then there's also a cloth layer underneath, which can be quite annoying to line up at times as they're both separate pieces. The boots are very nicely designed as well, right down to the stitching. The weathering on there is nice as well. Obviously you've got sort of soft goods, lower robes and trousers or pants for the Americans out there watching. Aside from that, and aside from the accessories that I showed you just a minute ago, you do also get two interchangeable hands. Now obviously if you've seen reviews on Captain Rex for example, you'll know that those figures like that come with absolutely tons of hands, whereas this one only comes with two, a left hand and a right hand, and these are obviously more natural poses rather than the gripped hands that allow him to hold the lightsaber. So if you just want Anakin in a neutral pose with his hands by his side, or even in a forced push motion, you know, you can have the hand, you know, doing a forced push or something. You can swap those out if you want. So they're very cool. And I think that's it in terms of accessories. There's not really much else to talk about in terms of the things that are included with the figure, but the figure itself is superb. When I was at the memorabilia show in Birmingham at the NEC this past weekend, I actually had the choice between this Anakin Skywalker figure and the Anakin from Revenge of the Sith, where obviously he's wearing his more traditional Jedi robes as opposed to the chest armour and the outfit worn in the Clone Wars. This one was a bit more expensive, but personally I think it's the cooler option, obviously because it's a little bit different to your typical Jedi, and obviously it fits in with the Captain Rex figure that I showed you a while back. But as I said, a great figure. I'm not going to run through all of the articulation because he has so much, but as I showed you when I was running through the features on the box, you do get 30 points of articulation on this figure, so everywhere this guy can be articulated, he pretty much is. So you can get him in some very lifelike poses. Just trying to demonstrate a few for you, but having a bit of a struggle. There we go. There are actually two versions to this Anakin figure, I believe. There's this one, which I'm holding in my hand, and there's also an exclusive version which would have set you back a little bit more. Haven't actually seen it out in the wild, and haven't seen it online for a reasonable enough price. But the standard version, you get everything that I've already shown you, but with the exclusive version you actually get a small minifigure of Rota the Huttlet. Unfortunately you don't get the backpack, but you do get the little Huttlet, and that'd be really cool if the backpack came with it. You could slot it in there, but oh well. I think if you did get the backpack, I'd have probably been more enthusiastic about tracking down the exclusive version to get Rota, and then you could put it in the backpack. But since Rota's just going to sit there and kind of do nothing, it's a bit pointless, so I'm kind of happy with this one, I would suggest. But if you want to have a look at Rota the Huttlet that is included with this figure, it's a really nicely detailed and nicely designed little piece, but as I said, without a backpack it's pretty much useless. So there we go, that is Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars, General Anakin Skywalker. Just trying to display some different poses for you. As I said, there's a ton of articulation in this. This neck's kind of disappeared now. Ton of articulation in the figure, so you can get them in some great poses, and it's just an overall great addition to any collection. Obviously this is a sort of foreshadow to the Hasbro 3 3/4 inch Anakin Skywalker figure that we're going to see in the vintage collection in 2012, which once again will be a realistic interpretation of Anakin as seen in the Clone Wars. So these two go hand in hand in some ways, but if you can pick this figure up for the right price, if you're interested in Sideshow figures, then I would highly recommend you do so, because it's a great figure and really looks fantastic alongside some of the other Jedi, and obviously alongside Captain Rex as well. So hopefully at some point Sideshow will make an Ahsoka 1/6 scale figure, and if they do I'll be sure to grab it. But for now I hope you enjoyed this review on Anakin from the Clone Wars. And that concludes another Sideshow Collectibles 1/6 scale figure review. Hope you enjoyed watching, guys, and until my next review, as always, you know the drill by now, keep collecting and may the force be with you. Oh, and before I forget, it does of course come with the obligatory Sideshow Collectibles figure stand with the Star Wars logo on there and the grip that secures the figure around the waist. So there we go. The previous line still stands, keep collecting, and as always, may the force be with you.